My brain was not working the first time I just tried to record this, so let's do it again. Today is graduation day. I am very excited. I have a very solid feeling that I'm gonna get pretty emotional because this is just a big thing for my mom and I. I grew up with her as a single mom. We went through a lot of things together, and for me to graduate college is just more reassurance that like everything that we did was worth it. And I'm also just very lucky to have the mom that I have. She has put me through undergrad with barely any FAFSA, like literally barely. Like we qualified for like a loan for like 2 years without any debt. So I feel like that's pretty rare, and she did it all on her own. So as much as I'm like very proud of myself today, I'm also very proud of her. I got her flowers and a little card to say thanks for dishing out 100 grand. I've actually realized, like, the more that I've been in school, how uncommon it is for parents to like support their kids through college. I don't know, I grew up in a family that like really prioritized getting your education, and going to college was something that I always knew I was going to do. Like, it wasn't an option. Even I remember I had this phase in high school where I just did not want to go to college. And my mom was like, so what are you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, okay, so you're gonna go to college. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And at that time, when I was like 17, 16, you know, angsty, I thought that I knew everything and that I didn't need to go. But these last 4 years ended up being quite literally the best 4 years of my life so far. I don't believe in that kind of thing of when people get really hyper focused on like high school or college and they're like, oh my god, like I miss college so much. Like, I'm gonna miss parts of college, but this was most certainly not my peak. That being said, my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, and my aunt are all coming up today. Graduation actually starts pretty early, but I'm not complaining because there was a really good chance that it was gonna rain, and I checked the forecast and it's not raining. And like New Paltz's undergrad ceremony tradition is that it's held in front of Old Main, which is like our old library, I think. I should know that, but I don't want to say that confidently. And so if it was gonna rain, I don't even know what the plan would be. I'm assuming to move it inside, and that would just suck because when it's inside, it's literally in the gym. Like, we went to Senior Toast and we saw them have it all set up, and I was like, I swear to God, if I just did all this work to then graduate in the same gym where there's just sweat, personally not my vibe at all. So very appreciative for today. What time is it? I also failed to mention that I actually graduated 6 months ago. I graduated in the winter, and I made that decision, I would say, pretty early into like my whole college experience. My mom had kind of put the idea in my head, and she told me that like if I graduated early, she would be able to help me out a little bit more than if I was to just finish out the 4 years, because I would be saving her money. And so I always kind of knew that I would graduate early, and I'm not saying that it's like the best idea for everyone, but for me, I loved it. I ended up getting like my dream full-time job 2 weeks out of school, so I've actually been working the past 6 months, and yeah, I work in a psych ward, which I think is just the coolest thing. Whenever I tell people about it, especially like older family members, they always give me this kind of like smile. It's like, like the kind of like, oh, that's nice smile. And I'm like, no, I genuinely love it. I feel like in the past 6 months, I've learned so much about my field. I've really become secure in the idea that I picked the right majors. Because I did a double major. I did psychology and sociology, and the best way to explain it is like, imagine everything that you've learned in your textbooks for the past 4 years and being able to see that in person. And of course, it's unfortunate that the way that I'm seeing it is because people are suffering from these mental illnesses. But it's been a really great learning experience, and I'm constantly learning and just trying to understand more of the, you know, clinical side of psychology, because I really didn't have any experience when I graduated college, you know, applying everything that I had learned. And also I just feel like so many concepts clicked so much better once I was working. For example, like, I remember there was this one time in class and we were talking about personality disorders and whether or not it's ethical for a therapist to not take on any clients with personality disorders. And at the time I remember sitting in class and I was like, yeah, it's totally unethical. Like, I think when you go into this field you have to be willing to take on personality disorders because that's such a major component of mental illness. And now that I've been working in the psych ward for a couple of months and I've really seen what a personality disorder can manifest to become, I have changed my mind. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not to say that every single person with a personality disorder is a certain way and blah blah blah, but I remember the first time that I interacted with a patient on my own who had a personality disorder, and I went to my supervisor and I was like, I don't know why, I was like, I'm just so drained. Like, that conversation just took everything out of me. Like, I could take a nap right now. And she was like, that's personality disorders. And I was like, oh. For those that don't know, personality disorders can be characterized by a lot of manipulative tactics. Patients with them tend to be, not always, but tend to be a little bit more self-centered, very attention-seeking, limit testing, demanding, and it can be a lot, especially if you don't know how to get yourself out of a situation like that. Like, now I'm very well aware of how to just, you know, professionally end a conversation like that and be able to move on before I wear myself out. But that first time, and even still, sometimes I get caught up in it, because sometimes you'll be talking to someone and then they'll start saying something and you're like, okay, this is all clicking now. Nonetheless, I love my job. I love it. I plan to go to grad school for clinical counseling and become a mental health therapist. I would love to be able to do it at the hospital that I currently work at, but if that can't happen for some reason, then I'll probably do it somewhere else, maybe return, and then down the line when I have kids and stuff, I would like to have a private practice just so I can work from home and be like a very involved parent. But that's still years down the line, so I'm not really worried about that. It's just something to keep in mind, because at this age you kind of have to have an idea of not just what the next year is going to look like, but if you want to be successful, in my opinion, you have to know what the next kind of like 5 years are going to look like. So my 5-year plan is just graduated, work, start grad school either in January or next August. Well, that would be next January too, but whatever, you get what I'm saying. And then get my master's, keep working at the same job that I'm working at, God willing, and then get more practice in a clinical setting and then private practice, hopefully in the next 5-ish years. But who knows? I really do love the hospital setting. I think it is very secure and informative, and as of right now I feel like I'm always learning something new. But if there hits a time where I'm like, oh, I actually feel like I've kind of just plateaued, then I'm gonna move on to, you know, the next better thing. And that's just how I am, because that's how my mom is. She never lets herself get too comfortable at a job, and that's allowed her to make a lot of really good career moves, just because she's always like, if there's something better, like, I'm gonna try it. And, you know, never burn your bridges. My mom has a great reputation with all of her past employers so that she can go back if something was to go wrong. But, you know, she's always advancing. And that's just something she's instilled in me. I'm also finally getting part of my sign-on bonus this payday. Hopefully it comes in. Because I was supposed to get it last payday and they were like, oh my god, I'm sorry. We didn't, like, put it in because we didn't know. So hopefully it's gonna come this week, and then I'm gonna use some of that for savings and then some of that to buy furniture, because I'm actually moving I was gonna move in 2 weeks, but my aunt was saying that my little cousin could come up next weekend and help me move, so it might be next week. Because like once I start moving stuff out of this room, I don't even want to come back to it, because I'm like at this point where I'm refusing to buy anything for this room, and it's been starting to get really hot. And I know I'm gonna put an AC in my next room, but it's like I'm not even gonna bother putting it in this room. So I don't know, if I get most of my stuff moved out next week, I'll start living at my new place next week. And that's gonna be a whole other topic of conversation, like living arrangements post-grad, because I feel like there's so many expectations nowadays of like what adulting should look like, and people forget that like when you graduate college, you're literally shit. You are shit. You are bottom of the barrel shit. You are not making a lot of money in most cases. I mean, some people go into fields where like you make money straight off the bat, but generally like you're not making a lot of money. You still have to go through grad school, you still have to like do all these things, and the expectations of what you think that's gonna look like are just so like inflated. It's 7:40. I feel like I should wake my roommates up. I'll give them 5 more minutes and then wake them up, because we have to leave here. We're gonna walk because parking is just gonna be like a royal mess, so nobody wants to do that. And it's like a 5-10 minute walk tops, but I want to get Starbucks before, so if we have to be there at 9:15, I feel like 8:45ish, 8:50 we should be leaving the house. So I want to give everyone like a solid hour to get ready. I like to take a lot of time to get ready, so I woke up really early today, but that's just because like I don't know, I can't like, if I have like a big event like this, like I can't be stressing, I can't be running around. I need time to sit in my thoughts and, you know, get ready calmly. After graduation, my family and I are gonna go to a restaurant that I've been wanting to try for like a long time now. It's apparently really good, and I've just never really had like an occasion to go because it is a little pricier. And don't get me wrong, I love door dashing, but spending like $100 on a meal right now, probably not my finest idea. But if my family's paying, getting a steak, I feel like I'm fine. I feel like I'm not stressing. Everything's done. I just have to do a bunch of little things like write my mom her card, get dressed. My hair's like dry, I just have to blow it out. That's not gonna take too long. Okay, I will come back to you guys after I have played some music, finished my makeup, and I'm a little bit more ready. Makeup is done. I do still have to do my lips, but I'm gonna wait till we're more so leaving to do them so that they're a little bit more fresh. We're also gonna go wake up my roommate just so that she doesn't oversleep. Pookie? Okay, I just want to make sure you're up. Anymore. One roommate is officially out of bed. This is Finny. Other roommate is in the process of getting out of bed. I have to blow dry my hair and put it into rollers before I spray it down. I washed it last night and let it air dry. Ooh, the purple shampoo worked. Okay, I need a hairbrush first. One of the things that I feel like I've really mastered during college is a really good blowout. It's honestly all about rollers and where you place them. I'm also probably gonna turn the fan on so I don't die in here. Can you guys even hear me? I feel like I should change into a button-up shirt, because once I put the rollers in, I can't really have anything going over my head for the next 35 minutes or so. Okay, let's roll. That's so funny. There we go. I have to get dressed. Meow. Purr. Meow. Okay, Baddie's outfit is on. I have these little pearl drop earrings from Amazon. Dress is from Zara, but I got it from Depop. And then shoes, let me, they're Serve. They're from Amazon. I do have to pin this dress up a little bit so it's not so hoochie mama.
I'm all ready to go.
I changed into flip-flops for the walk because this town doesn't deserve to see a baddie at her prime yet. Cute. They have us standing here in the Sahara Desert.
It's hot. It's really hot. But we're here and we're gonna do this. And this is the little bit of torture before we graduate.
Jimmy, how are you feeling?
Solid.
Turn backward.
Not as hot as everybody else. I think I'm built different, but you know.
Angeliki, ladies, how are we feeling?
My mustache is sweating.
It's the legend Derry P. Wheeler.
Mental health and emergency management.
We're about to walk.
We missed recording the tassel thing. They did it before we walked. It's kind of stupid.
And I missed recording one of my roommates' walk, so I'm just not going to record anyone.
Can I see my parents and
I'm ready to go.
the rest of my friends?
I encourage the graduates to recognize the special people, parents, spouses, siblings, friends, and other loved ones who are part of your network. Graduates, please acknowledge your family and friends.